Nah, nah, we did that. Nah, we did that. No. Yo, gotta go back to the beginning of this video. Go, man. It's your boy Pabs. This one's about the ladies, you know. Hold on. We're mixing vocals for the females, you know what I'm saying? The Janaes, the Scissors, the Summer Walker, you feel me? So the last mixing video did well. Oh, who cares, man? I learn, you learn, you know what I'm saying? One thing I've learned is use
mono VSTs.
They're less resource heavy. Fellas, let's get straight to work. We're just gonna go from here. So basically how I'm doing is, because some of the vocals are overlapping, I am kind of routing them. So vocal mix 1, vocal mix 2. So here the vocals dry.
A place with no wars, no violence and no crime. Nobody's heart overtaken by pride.
Vocals are calm, vocals are nice, you know, the takes are nice, you know what I'm saying? She got a nice vocal to her. But what we ain't gonna be achieving today is this.
A place with no wars, no violence and no crime. Nobody's heart overtaken by pride. 'Cause we know what we were sent here to do.
Nice, luscious vocals. I repeat, this one's for the ladies. We start off with Melodyne, just auto-tune, boom, boom, boom. But I like to process my stuff through Melodyne, then process it through auto-tune. I pick low mel because it attacks the whole frequency range, like from the bottom up, because sometimes she goes low as well. So that's why I picked that. Then I just use this because there's quite a lot of noise. There was quite a lot of noise, to be honest, so I had to do that. Okay, pause. This is what I gotta explain. So some of my VSTs are broke. You know what, I'm just gonna show you, bro. Let me go on Vocal Rider. This is the mono one. It doesn't load, so I gotta fix that. But essentially what we're doing is we're gonna use the Vocal Rider as our first compression, basically, to just level out the vocals initial. So this is without it.
A place with
It's
no
cool.
wars,
It's
violence
cool,
and no
but it's just a bit all over the place, you know? So with this Vocal Rider, we kind of tame it just a little bit. So listen to it now.
a place with no wars.
Now that's quite a lot of compression already, but don't worry, trust the process, you know what I'm saying? Like modern day R&B, there's a lot of compression happening. So next we use the EQ. I'm just taking away some of that boxiness. I'm just taking away some of the fluff, really, and a good way to kind of EQ is sweeping through. So let's just say we have, let me mute this real quick. So with the vocals, just sweep like this, you know, and take that type thing. So you just sweep through and you hear where a lot of the fluff is. Yeah, and then we get this. This is what we get.
A place with no wars, no violence and no crime.
Nice and clean. But to be honest, you know, with that Vocal Rider, we can just tank that down just a tad because that's kind of really strong. So the next thing that we're gonna do, personally, some people would say put the additive EQ on, but for me, I like to compress it first, and then when you compress it, you will hear a little bit more of the fluff, and you can just kind of like see where you want to boost. That's just how I do. That's my process. Please don't arrest me, sir. Also, I believe there's no one way to mix, but you know what I'm saying? Like this is the process. I'll show you how I do my thing. So with this one, for me, this compression is all about control, getting a good amount of control and a good amount of like gluing to the beat as well. It's really, really important that at this point we're kind of like gluing things a little bit. And for me, the thing that I found to really glue vocals together with the beat is literally the release. So a little thing that I do is I'll listen through it,
A place with no wars, no violence and no
and then I'll sweep through.
Nobody's heart overtaken by pride. 'Cause we know what we were sent here to do.
You know what I'm saying? As you sweep through the release anyway, the more the compression stays on your vocals. So yeah, that's just how I do it. This is it's something that I actually came across kind of accidentally. But with this, I'll just sweep through and just see where it feels a bit natural, but it feels like it's glued into the beat. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. And of course, my gain is just for the volume, to make sure that the volume is just, it's just in a good, hearable space. And then my ratio is standard. So see,
I'll take care of you. It's a place where
we're cooking. I told you. So here's what we do next. SSL channel. I love this VST. Waves, if you want to sponsor, man, just do your thing. So right here, this is what we do is we're going to cut and just boost one thing. That's what I'm doing for this one real quick. So for me, I like to cut again at the 100. Just make sure that those frequencies are cut, because this particular artist, she has harmonies, like lower harmonies. I don't really need all that lower register, so I just cut it there. I just boosted 16K because I learned it from this guy who makes Kendrick Lamar's humble. So I was like, you know what, might as well do the same. And it just sounds nice to me. It just gives it a bit more, Next thing to do is I cut around 1.4. I just feel like it was just kind of getting in the way of the clarity a little bit. And I just cut like 1 to like 2 dB type thing, because I've already cut. I don't want to really overcut type thing. With this one, around like 300, I was a lot of mud. There was quite a lot of mud, so I cut that as well. So without it sounds like this.
was sent here to do. You take care of me and I'll take care of you.
But for me, it's all about clarity. So now it sounds like this.
A place with no wars, no violence and no crime. Nobody's
Told you a cooking. Clarity sometimes comes from just cutting things, not always adding. So already our vocals feel like they're part of the track, but they're, you know what I'm saying? That was so corny, blood. That was so corny. I'm dying of cringe right now, bro. So yeah, that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? This is R&B. Don't forget, you want to have them clear, crispy vocals. The way that I do kind of de-essing is I'll go through with like another EQ type thing, and then I'll just watch where the S's are coming from. So this one, 8.4K. So this should be around 8.4K. And that's just how I do it, because I like to see it visually, and then I can just kind of cut it down. Next is the vocals sound a bit, they're flat, they just sound, they sound cool, they're clear. Need some saturation. I love to use Saturn 2. As an alternative, you can just use fruity dist, and you can just like turn the mix down and just turn it up gradually. What I like to do is gentle saturation. Gentle saturation. Start with the drive at low, play it.
a place with no wars, no violence and no crime. Nobody's heart overtaken by pride.
And then just like gently increase it. You can hear it, but you don't want to hear the distortion. You just want to hear the brightness, the new. That's about it. But you don't want to actually hear that distortion unless it's something that you actually want to go for. Yeah, we'll crank it up. There we go. Boom. Next is soothe. I've tried to explain what soothe is before, bro. I'm just gonna put it here. Boom, we're done. Now you understand what it does here. And I use it to just, like warm up the vocals and take away the harsh frequencies. I like to go with I just like to go to vocal and just go to vocal warmer, really. And then I turned up my depth a little bit, but yeah.
A place with no wars, no violence and no crime. Nobody's heart overtaken by pride.
Vocals are already smoother, so much smoother, and we need for this kind of stuff. This is more neo-soul-y, so I like to have like soft vocals. But this is something that, to be honest, I'm gonna say that you don't really need. It depends what you're trying to go for, but like for me, I just want them vocals to feel round, so I just use it. But you don't really need this one. You can use a multi-band compressor. You can use fruity multi-band compressor. So next is my parametric EQ2. Everybody got this. You shouldn't be complaining about this one. You know, sometimes in the mix, things just kind of escape through type thing. Or when you add certain things come up. It's kind of like trying to balance a problem type thing. So a lot of my laws, they kind of come up a little bit. So
A place with no wars, no violence and no crime.
because I was hearing a little bit rumbling, so I just had to kind of like take that out. But one thing to be very careful though is around the 200 range here is where body is. When somebody says, yo, he needs a bit more body around there when it comes to vocals, that's where the body is. You're probably asking, Pabs, what's up with that last compressor you got there? Like, big man, what are you doing? When I say don't worry about it, sweetheart, we're coming back to that in a bit. Hold on. So now we got my main reverb. So this reverb, you gotta get it right. You gotta get it right. What I like to do, I like to go on this website and I just type in my BPM and it gives me like different kind of information. So the kind of room I'm using is kind of like a large room. So I'll set my pre-delay to 34.4 and my decay time to 21. Well, 2.1. The reason why I do that is because when you have pre-delay is basically how long it takes for the reverb to start on your vocals when the reverb is hit with a signal. The reason why I mess with that and the reason why I also mess with the time is because I don't want my reverb to get in the way of my vocals. I don't want reverb to be getting in the way of my clarity. So that's why I have a certain decay time.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Then one more thing is that I EQ my reverb. I EQ it here initially, but for me, it's just about here, bro. Sometimes the high end is a bit too, I don't know, it's like how to describe it, but like, so, you know, sometimes it's like too showery, kind of like too just noisy for no reason, like high end noise. So next, I'm going to look at my delay. Now, I've spoken about this. It's the same settings from my other video. If you want to check out my other video, check out my other video. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you after this, check out my other video. But essentially, this is the same kind of stuff. I just don't like analog one. I'm just going to do a 4-quarter delay, compress it, but it's like a sidechain type of compression. I use an imager to give it width and just make it wet. You know what I'm saying? Next thing is a delay that I use, but I don't really use it for the sake of it being a delay. I use it to widen my vocals. So with this one, I'm going to show you what it's like when I turn off all the other effects. It's all about width. It's all about width. And with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compress it again because I don't want those things to get in the way of the main vocals. I want them to be pushed back a little bit when the main vocals in. I'm going to put a DS on it. So the reason why I put a DS on this is they kind of assist the main vocals. I don't want the syllables. So yeah, and it's pretty damn, yeah. I just don't want them in the way. And it's like this so far. Let me turn it off.
Nobody's heart overtaken by pride.
Instant. And this the thing is that some of these things, admittedly, it's like you can't hear it, but as soon as you turn off, you can feel it. So, you know, mixing is not always about what you can hear. Sometimes it's just about the feeling. Do you know what I'm saying? This delay, as soon as you take it off.
A place with no wars, no violence and no crime.
Instantly, the width is taken out. Thing that I've kind of route to it is fresh air. I just want to give it a little bit more presence. This is all about taste, really, but I just did it like this, and just to give it a bit more presence. You know what I'm saying? So just gives it that presence even more, that clarity. You know, because we need to hear what she's talking about. And last but not least is my last compressor. So how I do it personally is I just turn down my vocals. Then I turn this down to about minus 29 dB. Then I merge this whole channel. Then I listen. Sometimes when you listen in stereo, you're getting a false representation of how loud something is on my final compressor. And I don't want to compress more than 2 dB. And on this one, I'm going to make sure that the vocals are just above the beat, just a tad. So here we go. And right there, I feel like is the spot. Then I'm gonna reset my volume, remove the merge. Now I listen.
Oh, I want to run away to that life.
Nah, hold up. Nah, hold up. You know them ones when you're working on a mix and you start to think you're going crazy. Time after time, trying to, fix your mix, but it just sounds like poo poo. I told you to trust the process. Trust the process, man. Well, I told you. You gotta trust the process, young bloods. You know what I'm saying? It's all about small little increments and just about learning things now. Somebody's gonna look at my mix and be like, oh, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, that's what I like. That's what I like about this community. It's just about sharing information. And if there's anything that you do differently, anyway that I can improve, please drop that down in the comments below. Because there is already so many gems I've gone from my previous video. Check it out. Thank you so much for the love that you show towards this channel. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I kind of blew up this channel a little bit from my first video. But there's just so much more that I do on this channel. Just look at my other stuff that I do as well, man. I just really would love support on my other more personal stuff that I just enjoy doing. I enjoyed this too, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, please like, subscribe, comment and all of that. I'm just trying to make it out the hood, you feel me? Just trying to make it out the hood. This one's for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? That's how we mix them vocals for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? I got so much more stuff coming through. If you want to see anything on this channel, shout your boy. Shout your boy. It's been your boy Pabs. See you again very soon.